part of what happens in universities now, especially in the activist disciplines in the humanities, is they're fed this idea that there's no such thing as knowledge. There's just justifications for power games. And so if the patriarchy, if the people who are dominating the patriarchy put something forward to you as knowledge, all they're really doing is oppressing you and justifying their position at the top. And it's like, well, partly they're doing that because no hierarchy is without corruption. Okay, so there's a tiny bit of it that's true. But most of the case in our society is that most of the hierarchies we have are hierarchies of competence. You know, you don't get to the top by being brutal and tyrannical. That just doesn't work, except in rare circumstances, and it doesn't work for very long.
Well, what do you think about this theory that sociopaths rise to the top?
No.
You don't buy that?
Really? No.
No.
Well, I know it's not true. I've actually studied sociopathy and psychopathy a lot. Psychopaths are generally not very successful.
Interesting.
And, well,
I thought the opposite.
It's partly because they say you can fool some of the people some of the time and so forth, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing about psychopaths is that they betray people, and people really remember betrayal. And it doesn't take much betrayal to have your reputation seriously damaged, and word gets around fast. So psychopaths, the real psychopaths, they have to move around. They need new victims all the time. And so, you know, I'm not saying that there aren't crooked people who rise to the top in certain organizations. That happens. But it's not a stable solution. And it's more rare than you think. Now, you do see this sometimes when rot sets into a company. You know, a company will have developed a good reputation, and you get a bad group of executives at the top, and their interest mostly is in stripping the company of assets and taking off with them. You know, but there is corruption in every system. But the idea that the best way to succeed in modern Western culture is to be intelligent and conscientious. Those are the best predictors. And conscientious people are generally quite trustworthy.
Sure.
So, and you know that. Like, who are you going to trade with? You're going to trade with people you trust.
Yeah.
And word gets around, man.
I guess I overestimated the...
I just love that Kurt Vonnegut.
What is it?
I don't remember it, but that's what he says. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just more of a funny...
Yeah.
What is it?
Something like, just that the country's run by sociopaths because of its...
failed Harvard sociopath students or something like that. Like
running the country.
Yeah. It's
well,
more funny than
Well, the thing is that you know...
it's more funny than true.
Yeah.
That's
right,
Vonnegut,
exactly. But, I mean, the other thing is compared to what? Like, you want to live in an African country under an African tyrant? Like, I don't think so. Or in communist China, for that matter. Or how about North Korea? It's like, who exactly are you comparing us to?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's corruption, but...
Okay, I mean, that's kind of a good insight. I think, I just overestimated the abilities of sociopaths. But I think what you're saying about them moving around... They have to move around, man. Rings true.
And they prey, the sociopathic types, too, they prey on the elderly. Like, they're bad people. Oh, yeah, well, this is a big problem now with computers. I mean...
these are the guys...
Like,
you know,
all the frauds.
This happened once to my grandma.
Yeah.
She calls me up out of the blue. She's like, I just got a call from you in Mexico saying that you were stranded there and needed me to send you $1,500. I was like, what the...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's a sociopath.
I tell lies when it suits me.
The real psychopathic types, they have no conscience. Like, you're there to be plucked.
You're an NPC in a video game, as it's been described.
Yeah, exactly. And they're relatively rare, and they do have to move around. And, you know, they can be successful in extraordinarily corrupt environments for short periods of time, but it's just not a stable solution.
50 years of allegations against Jimmy Savile has detailed 34 crimes of rape and 126 indecent acts. The youngest victim, a boy of just 8. The NSPCC, who produced the report together with the police, is calling Savile one of the most prolific sex offenders it has ever come across.
But also with the children. You know, they say that you don't like kids.
Hate them.
Oh,
hate them.
Come on.
Do it.
Well, then why do they gravitate towards you so much?
Because they know that I don't like them.
Because they know...
It's an attraction of opposites.
No, women know too much. I'm all for girls that don't know too much. It's a different class. It's easier for me as a single man to say, I don't like children.
Isn't he a paedophile line, basically?
Yes. How does anybody know whether I am? Nobody knows whether I am. or not.
What do you chat about with the Queen?
All sorts of things.
Like?
What we chat about is a no-go area, so therefore that's what we chat about.
Meaning?
Meaning, that's what it is. I'm not a grass. I don't know where you come from. I mean, I don't know what your circles are, but my circles, you don't grass on them. No.
You get the address?
No, I'll get anything, me.
How did you get it, though?
I can get anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can't get. And there's nothing I can't do.
I would have to be expertly questioned by somebody like yourself so that you could winkle out with your sharp rapier tongue all the secrets that lurk in this philosophy of mine.
It's a no-go area, and I don't grass on nobody. Neither the ladies in my life, or people that I've helped in my life, or whatever. But I'm quite prepared to talk about things as long as it's not grassing on anybody.
So I personally looked elsewhere, and I worked out that a hospital, for me, was better than a disco. Because a disco closes, but a hospital never closes. So if I want to go and share myself with my patients in any one of my 3 hospitals at 3 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's available. So now I have, to the casual observer, a total fun life.
All right, Jim, all right. All right, then. Give me a fucking hard time, then. Never got nicked.
No. Well, I know it's not true. I've actually studied sociopathy and psychopathy a lot. Psychopaths are generally not very successful.
Learn to employ the other side of your personality, which is the pussycat side. Even do it consciously. Be aggressive and say, I'm now going to be a pussycat. Boom. And go the other way.